When tragedy strikes at work, what happens next?
I want to hold space for a very important topic, which is the death of an employee.
HR faces moments no one prepares you for.
There's a stage of mourning that every HR person is going to go through, the company's going to go through.
This is one of those moments.
Hi, my name is DeWeese, and I've been working in the area of insurance and HR employee benefits for over 20 years now. And usually on my channel, we talk about insurancy and HR related topics, and today is no different. I want to hold space for a very important topic, which is the death of an employee. In the area of insurance, we deal with life insurance claims, disability claims, and some really heavy topics, helping people through getting claims paid through a catastrophic diagnosis like stage 4 cancer. All of these topics come up day to day, not just for me, but for HR professionals all over the place. It's not an uncommon thing, and I don't feel that it is addressed. I haven't seen it addressed at all anywhere. Unfortunately, one of my clients is going through something like this right now, and I thought it would be a good time to address it and talk through exactly what we need to be thinking about. There's a stage of mourning that every HR person is going to go through, the company's going to go through. This all depends on the tenure of the employee, how many other staff members had relationships with this employee. Nonetheless, even if there is minimal relationship with a coworker or someone that you manage or an employee that works for you, it's still very close to home, and I don't want to ignore that piece, so that's why I bring it up right up front. If you are in a situation like this, either you have been through a situation like this or you're looking at a situation like this, I want to bring forward some of the action steps that need to take place as an HR person. Because let's face it, in this moment, you're probably not thinking very clearly. I also want to put in a disclaimer. I'm not your insurance broker. I'm not a HR, not your broker. I am not your legal counsel. Please seek legal advice in addition to anything I say here. This is all just for entertainment and educational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. With that said, I'm just bringing forward my experience and what I have seen in this area over the last 20 years of my career. So, step number one for HR is to notify managers and executives as soon as you become aware of the situation. You want to pause and leave space for grieving for yourself and for the other managers involved. Avoid a mass email blast to everyone right out of the gate. Try speaking with your employees one-on-one or in a small group setting. Speak to the managers first, and then work with the management team to coordinate a heartfelt, sincere message to the staff as well as to the family members and friends of the individual that has passed away. Also, offering any kind of EAP counseling, grievance counseling, mental health support throughout this time is extremely important and something that should be brought to the table when you are sending out anything from your desk related to a crisis, and if it's coming from HR. I always encourage people I work with to give resources in a time of struggle and strife, like a death in the company. Also, in other situations, like an accident, there's a lots of other situations that could be appropriate for HR to send out EAP program information. And EAP is just Employee Assistance Program. These are usually attached to disability contracts. Many health insurance plans include EAPs. They are free of charge. Employees can call directly. Many of them offer face-to-face meetings. It's usually 3 to 5 free visits included in EAPs. Some clients offer grievance counseling or pay for a counselor to come on site and meet with employees, or just be available for the employees to meet with, or available to call and book an appointment to cover that, however many visits or over a certain period of time, maybe the first 30 days, or one visit with this counselor or therapist, whichever service you decide to use. There are lots out there to choose from. Next on the list are housekeeping items where you terminate the benefits and terminate from payroll and HRAS systems. Before you do this, talk with your executive team. In some situations, the executives may choose to extend coverage for the family. If the employee was a key employee or had a long tenure, there may be arrangements made where the company decides to pay for a certain number of months for COBRA and things like that. And it's important to work out those details and talk those through before terminating everyone. Do keep in mind you have 30 to 60 days with your carriers. Technically, it's 30 days from the date of death in most policies. However, I have found many insurance companies will honor the termination request as long as it's within a reasonable amount of time. Most carriers see 60 days reasonable. Others will go 90 days even. But that's not a guarantee. I'm not your insurance broker. But keep that in mind. Sometimes it's better to wait to terminate everything and let things settle and figure out what you and the executive team decide to do with coverages before you go terminating. Of course, notify all the benefit carriers, file a life insurance claim. Now, this can be pretty stressful for HR. In most life insurance policies, the onus falls on HR for keeping track of everyone's beneficiary forms, because many insurance companies do not house beneficiary information in their database. They state that the employer needs to house beneficiary information on each and every employee at the employer level. So whether that's in an online system or a paper system, this is another reason why many HR managers decide to go online and have employees fill this out online so it's dated and stamped if you can't find the paper. It's an emotional time and an important piece. If there is no beneficiary on file, most of the time it goes with a spouse or significant other. And if there was no beneficiary designated, you will want to call the life insurance company and find out what their policy is on that, whether they automatically assign it to closest kin or spouse, domestic partner, significant other. What are their parameters and what are their guidelines with that? Stop all benefit deductions from payroll employee. COBRA is an important one to think about. Now, if the employee was the only one on health insurance, dental insurance, and vision insurance, maybe this isn't such a big deal. But if the employee did have a spouse and children enrolled on a medical, dental, or vision plan, this can be a very important piece. Now you've got a spouse or domestic partner being asked to fill out COBRA paperwork, and there may need to be some additional hand-holding, have more time to help these COBRA eligible members enroll with Cobra and help them walk through the process a little bit more than you would in a normal situation. If the employee had an HSA, FSA, this is where we go to the IRS. It depends on the type of account, but usually there are beneficiary forms filled out for an HSA, just like a bank account or an IRA. The FSA is a little different. It will depend on a lot of different things. So please call your FSA administrator and talk that through with them if there is an active FSA in a situation like this. Don't forget workers' comp. Obviously, update your workers' comp carrier. It'll most likely adjust the salary and so forth. If it's a work-related death, you want to notify your workers' comp carrier and broker right away. If a work-related death does occur, you want to notify OSHA within 8 hours. Once all the housekeeping items are taken care of, being a resource for your employees, like I talked about in the beginning, sending out information on the resources available through your employee benefits, like the EAP, is going to be welcomed amongst your staff. It's important to acknowledge the loss openly, and it is okay to show that you're a human and that you're vulnerable. Remaining silent is not the best way to go in most situations, and certainly not in this one. Silence can be interpreted in many different ways because you're not saying anything. So the employees will fill in their own story about why you're being silent. It is better just to state the loss openly and address it directly as a leader. It's okay if you tear up. It's okay if you cry. It happens. It shows you're human to your staff. I think it is always better to be emotional and communicate than not communicate at all, especially in a situation like this. Offering group counseling sessions or any kind of counseling sessions to the employees would be a good idea. Give managers guidance on what to say to their employees. Talk to your managers, give them support. They may be feeling some additional pressure. Give everybody extra space, asking other departments to kick in, maybe asking the whole team to kick in. Maybe that employee was in a particular department that's going through a crunch time, or there's all sorts of situations that can come up where everyone can pull together, but also allowing space, allowing additional time off, allowing longer lunches for employees to talk over lunch, allowing the employees to leave the office to go to their counseling sessions. All of these things are going to happen when there is a loss. Everybody is grieving collectively. It can be a very difficult thing to manage, especially if there's deadlines. You do have a business to run at the end of the day, and you as the business owner or the HR person wants to make sure that the business continues and can continue to be profitable and pay everybody's paychecks. But at the same time, balancing that out with softness and giving the employees that space to get through a difficult time. Consider a moment of silence. Consider memorials, something to do together, a memorial walk, a memorial run, a reception with a dinner with friends and family, or just with the office. Doing something in memoriam of the person, something that person really enjoyed. Doing that as a collective together, supporting a charity that employee supported, is going to help everyone have closure. Taking action together when we have a collective grief, a collective loss, a collective shock, when that group can do some actions to move on together. I have seen that be very helpful, useful, and therapeutic in these situations. And to come back to the bereavement gift, some companies may decide to extend benefits to the family members for 30, 60, 90 days, or give a bereavement gift. Of course, hopefully the company has some life insurance policy on the books, and that can be given to the family and beneficiaries to help support them financially. Sometimes the employer feels compelled to chip in a little bit in times of struggle. The only thing to keep in mind is that precedents are being set. Employees aren't dying every day. So this is a unique circumstance. But what you do with one family, you should do with another. So if there have been other situations that this company has been through in the past, and one employee is treated severely differently than another, that can cause some issues legally if one of the family members decides to take issue with it in courts. Another thing is cleaning out that employee's workspace. That is a tough one to address. Timing does matter on this one. If somebody passes away, you don't want to go in and clear out all their things right away. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. Nobody wants to do it right away. This is also where a family member should be involved in getting their personal items when the time is right. Disabling any of the employees' accounts, handling their emails, where the email is going to go, and getting them unsubscribed to accounts they may have access to, bank accounts, logins for software, the CRM, any kind of CRM or management software that you have, and so on. All right, and that is really all I had for you today. If you are going through a loss like this, I want to extend my condolences to you and the family members that are missing their beloved family member. I want to applaud you for watching this video all the way through and taking the time to really think about what their family is going through and thinking about what the best course of action is going to be for their family, how to be respectful to your staff and give space to your staff for grieving, and do the right thing throughout this entire process. Hopefully you found this useful in some way, and if you did, I would love to hear from you. I'd love your feedback. Thank you for hanging out till the end. Thank you for spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.